Hello, Fabulous at 50 Sisters. My name is Diana Bose, and I am the creative director of Fabulous at 50. So today we have a inspirational call with Loretta Friedrich, and the reason you are getting this is because you are a Cosmo Club member. And so you are getting this as a special gift. Not everybody gets to see these calls. And one of the reasons I really love Fabulous at 50, and I get asked all the time what's been my favorite part of Fabulous at 50. And it is the people I get to meet and the inspirational women, specifically like Loretta, who have come into my life and who have enhanced my life in so many ways. And the message that they have to give to you, has and will have an impact in your life. So if you listen to this call and you feel that you've gotten something out of it, or you have some questions you would like, or you would like to contact Loretta, please send her a message. She will leave her contact information at the end of the call. So in saying that, here's Loretta. Loretta and I, we are triplets. If anybody knows us, you'll know that that's a joke, but I kind of feel that we really are. Loretta is a twin, so I just made myself a triplet. Loretta is a certified holistic nutritional consultant. She's a writer, a very good speaker. She is a food lover like no one else, a health advocate, a local supporter, an owner of award-winning Sprout Natural Nutritional Consulting, and the creative director of your Food Story program and book project, which she's working on. She has been married to the love of her life, Martin, for 28 years and has 2 young adult daughters. She loves walking, which I have participated in many times. She loves getting vegetable stains on her hands, and she loves to smell like dirt. Not all the time. Just
not smell like dirt, smell dirt.
Oh, smell dirt. Well, I think you could smell like dirt too.
That would be wonderful too, I guess.
Oh, that's funny. And as you can tell, Loretta and I have the most fun when I'm with Loretta. We have done a few little tours. We usually take a day out in the summer and go on a little adventure. And we cry. We have tears, sometimes because we're laughing so hard. And she makes me do the silliest things. I don't know what it is about her, but she brings the silly out in me more than anybody I've ever known. So I know you're going to really enjoy this call today, because I always do. Always, always, always do. So Loretta, you always, every time I see you, you always look like a little ray of sunshine. But what, when you're laying in your bed, what motivates you? What motivates you to get up and get doing?
Well, firstly, I say thank you, Diana, for having me on this call. And you called me a ray of sunshine, but right away, I think I'm going to get a little annoyed, because what do you know? They're doing some bushwhacking outside my
no, really?
park. So forgive the city of Edmonton, because there's a little bit of noise there. So hopefully they'll go by in just a moment. But I lie in my bed some mornings, if I choose to lie there. Sometimes I just kind of fly out of bed, and then I think, no, I can lie here. I can lie here. And I'm just so grateful for where I am in life, and the age, the wisdom that if we allow ourselves to really embrace. I just love this time of life. But what gets me out of bed is really tied into what you said, Diana, with the food end of things, and really about through the clients that I've had, and just my own little personal journey with food and health and wellness, is I've got this desire to see people get out of what I call food prison. And so that there is not this mentality or mindset that eating food has to be hard. Mm-hmm. And it can be delightful. It can be all of these good things if we choose to allow ourselves really express what it is that we enjoy about food, and remove that shame and that guilt. And so part of that too is, with further examination, if you will, with people that I speak to, or even in groups, or like you, even Diana, we talk a lot about food.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that to really motivate and validate who we are through our food, and honor that knowledge that we have. And so that's what excites me, getting into my day. And I know, Diana, you teased everyone a little bit about this project that I'm working on with a book. We could get into that later, but that's also gets me out of bed too, because there's stories about food. So there's that long answer, what gets me out of bed. But really about the food prison, and have people be freed and release themselves from it. So
yeah, because I totally relate. I've been in that food prison myself, where I'm putting good and bad on food. And yeah, it's not a good place to be. I mean, I've dieted most of my life, and you know, instead of just embracing it, and something you said the other night at the event we were at, is just taking the time to even smell your food before you eat it. I mean, I went last night for dinner to a Cafe Linea and ordered a glass of Viognier wine, and it just took a minute to smell that. Oh, it was so delicious. I mean, even if I wouldn't have drank it, the smell of it was amazing.
mm-hmm.
And I'm trying very hard to get back into that place of, you know, just embracing the smells and the tastes, and not just shoving food. I'm always in a hurry, right? Eat as fast as I can. Trying to take the time to slow it down and really enjoy.
Absolutely. Yeah, all that's those senses.
Mm-hmm.
To have it as a sensual experience, and really give yourself permission to do that. And, you know, we do have to feed our bodies, so why don't we enjoy it? And then through that pausing, and you know this too, and when you pause, then we won't overeat. And then we don't have to add on extra shame. Sorry, that was my dog.
That wasn't
my
you.
dog. That sounds like he's gagging, not me. Anyway, all these sounds in this house here. I don't know what else is going to happen, but to pause, and that in itself will allow us to experience that, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Have some good digestion, and then we probably won't overeat.
Right, I agree. So I was saying earlier that you're a twin, and I got the privilege of seeing where you grew up in our last little adventure that we had. What would you say would be one of the food memories? I mean, you grew up with Ukrainian heritage, so I can only imagine.
Mm-hmm. So many. There's just like family reunions. My dad, especially on the one side, my dad came from a family with 15 kids. So it was always a large gathering, and still is. We aim to gather around Ukrainian Christmas, and yes, there is the Ukrainian food, and then the incorporation of all of the cool stuff that has been infused through people getting married and trying out new recipes. But definitely one of my biggest food memories, which has something to do with that dirt we were talking about. I could smell like that dirt too, because I wouldn't mind being in the potato patch. And that has a lot to do with my dad's love of potatoes. He's passed already now, going to be on to 18 years. Wow. And so potatoes definitely is one of the earliest food memories, because it was something that, well, had to be on the table, and we definitely grew at the, not just the acreage that you saw, the land where I grew up, but also all these other gardens, and not just our family, but my grandparents. There was always potatoes. So that's one of my biggest food memories, or earliest food memories, is the potato and all the different ways you could prepare it, because it was a staple. And how the fascination of it, watching it when it was in the cold storage in the winter, and when it started growing those eyes and all the little, roots, that's probably when I started becoming more and more fascinated about how plants grew. But that smell of the dirt and all of the root vegetables, basically, that's my earliest food memory, that earthy smell.
So I know you go to the markets, and you have your regulars that you go-to all the time. And you gave me a great tip on going to the Nate meat market.
Yep.
I caught them the very last week, and I was like, oh, why didn't I go sooner? Like, wow, it was amazing. But in your life on a daily basis, what would you say is like a typical kind of a food day for you?
Typical food day, even in the winter, though it's probably not the best warming food, but I am a smoothie gal,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the challenge I put on myself every day, not in a stressful way, but to find all different sort of varieties and every which way to combine different vegetables and fruits and herbs and things like this with basically a staple of some seeds and some kind of maybe nut butter and things like that. So a whole food smoothie to start off the day is very typical for me. It probably includes some greens as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that I just love starting my day with as much hydration as possible. Before that, I typically will have some lemon water. So typically, I'll say 95% of the time I will have lemon water, and I've been doing that for 4 years now. And it's just I like the taste, but I know I'm then hydrating myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably lunchtime. Lunchtime just seems to be always the tricky one for me. And even when I was in my former career, and a lot of times too, when I'm talking to people, clients, and just friends and family, that it's that lunchtime that is a little bit more tricky. But I'll probably default to some sort of salad. And today I had an apple with some cheese that we brought back from our recent trip to Quebec province. And so I enjoyed that with some crackers and some other little bits and pieces. I really like to have finger foods for lunch too. And then supper time is when I really get creative, and I've got this Instagram account that really does show the story about what I'm eating. And I started that account, sure, for a lot of people, but for me to just really document these meals. And I've have the privilege to be able to write some recipes for some pretty prominent players in the Edmonton scene. So I'm always trying to showcase the local, and then just get a little bit creative at supper time. And so that to me is really fun. I really don't mind the supper time. So that could be anything. I mean, I'm really game on trying anything, but it's got to be in my mind as nutritious as possible. But it has to be easy, and it has to be as affordable as possible and tasty. So NEAT, and that's an acronym I like to try to use as the criteria. And it sure doesn't hurt if it looks good too. So NEAT with a side of good looking.
Oh, kind of like your husband, right?
Absolutely. So that's kind of like the day in the life of me. But, people would say, oh, well, what about, those other things? Like, because I'm into nutrition and that. What hit me? Is it Saskatoon season? Of course I'm going to have Saskatoon pie. Is it, whatever season? I try to pay attention to what season it is, and I'm going to celebrate that. And yes, I do have those sweets and treats, some people would say, but hit me with a cucumber, I'll call it a treat if it's right out of the garden.
Yeah.
Or hit me with, anything else that's prepared in, I just love all kinds of really delicious and wonderful food. So it's about pausing and enjoying whatever it is anyway. You'll find that I eat a whole bunch of things, so it's not just the typical eat the bark and the seeds diet, because I'm into nutrition. So
yeah, like yesterday we were my daughter wanted a snack, and we had been at the market in the French Quarter on Sunday, and so I had some fresh peas and radishes. So she got those out with a thing of hummus, and that's what we shared. And and it was delicious and crunchy and colorful. And I was thinking, 10 years ago, we probably wouldn't have thought of that as a snack. But it's become, we're just thinking differently about, what a snack means to us.
Well, and I love that, because when you're starting to talk about that, I'm going places as well, because then it's definitely recognizing the season that we're in while we're having this conversation. You know, the radishes and the peas are going to come out soon, and all these things.
Mm.
Um, it's the crunch, the different textures. It's satisfying in that way. So while I do have a smoothie, let's say every morning, and that's kind of like my creamy sort of start to the day, I better have some crunch in there as well, because it's needed for most of us. When I interview people or when we're talking about their diet, definitely they need crunch. And if they don't have it and they've had, let's say, a smoothie diet all day, and by the way, I'm not knocking a smoothie diet. If it works for a person, great. But a lot of times people will be just kind of looking in the cupboard, closing the door, going, well, it's probably they're after something crunchy if they haven't had something all day.
To chew. I think
chew, and it's a tension release too.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, but anyway, I love that you mentioned about the crunch. So definitely I'll try. Well, I won't even try anymore. I'll definitely reach for something crunchy, because I do like my crunchy
Yeah,
stuff.
me too. I'm a big carrots person.
There you go.
Love carrots.
Love it.
So, I mean, I've seen your Instagram account, and my goodness, some of the food in there, it's like, it inspires me a lot, because then I'll think, oh shoot, I'm going to have salmon, because I'll see you have this beautiful piece of salmon, and you know, it all looks so lovely. But if you had the choice of 6 people around your kitchen table to share a meal with in conversation, I mean, either past or present, who would it be? Who would be those 6 people?
You know, that is always such an interesting question. And I actually asked you to ask me that, because I really wanted to take time to think about it. So besides my family, who would be not at the table, but they can watch.
Okay.
And you could be there too, Diana.
Thanks, so good. I'll do the dishes.
At the table, besides me, so I'm the 7th person, there would be Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Not probably, Mother Teresa.
Yes.
I've been recently reading about Malala, so I would like Malala to be there.
Yes.
And I would like my dad, so I'd like to bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
I would like, let's see, I'm running out of, I got 2 more here. I was trying to rehearse this one, and now I can't even think. Oh, just for kicks, probably one of our, well, sure, why not? We'll just throw this in. Well, no, that make it sound like it's too political, so forget it. I'm not going to pick any political, like a president or a prime minister.
You don't want Trump there?
Well, definitely could be interesting. But I don't know, let's say the Queen of England. Why not?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Just somebody else like Shakespeare. Let's just have it really wild. So, you know, I'll look at this tape later and go, why didn't I say that person or that person? There's some people for you that would just sort of be in all over the place. And I know I have forgotten some singers and all these, like, as I'm into music, but that's okay. That's a good start. The next time will be another 6.
Yeah, we'll pick 12 next time.
Yes.
You'll expand on your dinner choices.
Exactly.
So, you know, you were saying earlier, like you're not, you really enjoy food, but you don't necessarily get caught up in the bad and good and all of that so much. But you also must have a pretty strong feeling what your pillars of health would be. Like if you were to, you know, for a client, you would sit down with them, and what would you say?
Well, first and foremost, for sure, and I've already kind of alluded to it, would be water, but not necessarily water, but hydration, like hydrating yourself. So very much first and foremost. Nutrition, because as a holistic person, I could go into so many corners there. It's not just that physical, but for the sort of the truest sense of the word, I suppose, when people are thinking diet, that nutrition would be reaching for more like, let's say, the whole foods, the plant-based. Yes, I do enjoy meat as well, but hormone-free, etc. Ethically treated, humanely treated. Exercise, and let's scratch that out. the activity level it gets your heart rate up, the cardio, and all kinds of like stretches and things like that. So because exercise sometimes is just not a pleasant word for some people, so have some kind of activity that gets you going. And so these are pretty typical that you'll find, even if you Google, you'll get those ones. But also the sleep, huge. So sleep, rest. And so spinning off from that, the rest part, and this is something that I need to give myself permission to do, is just to be quiet. So incorporate that as part of
You have a problem with that? No way.
to be quiet, and just be, because I like to do. I'm a doer, even though people would be pretty surprised that really truly I'm an introvert, but I just let my mind race. So that's not being quiet. I could be by myself, but I let my mind race. So very important to rest and pause, reflect, meditate, pray, whatever you want to call it. And then those are really the basis of all kinds of other spin-offs. Good health. From there, I feel like I'm missing one there, but from there, laughing and music, and those are more activities to really help with your mental, emotional health, and the social aspect, connect, be a volunteer. So I don't know how you group that all in, but those are the ones that I definitely, those first ones there, with hydration, nutrition, activity level, sleep, rest. Everything else gets supported, because then you're a better person for the planet, and you're actually present on this earth. So yeah,
for sure. So we kind of talked a little bit about your project that you're working on. You want to kind of elaborate a little bit and share what you've been doing? I know a little bit about it, but I think it's something it's so exciting. Like when you first told me about it, I was like over the moon for you, because I think it's going to be huge.
Well, let's see, how much time do we have? Another 5 hours? No. No, seriously, I can definitely have it summarized. I am still collecting as we speak, food stories and recipes from across Canada. And the focus is on the story itself. And really the piece about it is, and this is my part, is that I'm going to be weaving through that to show folks that there's this health and wellness component throughout all of the anecdotes, stories, and the recipes. And so this will be published as a book. It will be available in hopefully within the next 12 months. That's the goal. I've got lots of interest, and so we're going to be going through to pursue how we can get this published. And so I've got different ways. And if it doesn't happen that it's going to be some publisher, then definitely I will self-publish. But this book itself, the collection of, I'm aiming for between 100 and 150 stories about these food items and recipes, is to honor, to validate, I've used these words before, motivate, inspire, encourage people to really look at what makes them themselves and where they've come from. And it's not just about, grandpa and his charcoal briquettes and making whatever it is on the, that's taken us some places, because I know a lot of us speak the language of charcoal briquettes, and probably still maybe some of you use it, but grandpa or granny, or your mom or yourself or an uncle or somebody within the larger community that's made an impact, and then you've taken that food experience and you've incorporated it into your own family, and you're naturally passing it along. Cool. Honor that. Let's have a story about it, all of the different senses if you want to incorporate it. But again, the whole big reason behind this project is to, well, I don't know if I'm going to use the words food prison. I'm starting to really get deep into the pieces that I'm writing in this book, but to really showcase food and have that food legacy be alive and well, and not lose yourself with the different fads. And it's always good to incorporate new things. I'm learning about different spices daily, honestly, daily, or herbs or things like that. But we live in a beautiful country that's got so many different ethnic groups and so many different cultures. Or one of these stories was just crazy, that this gal can trace her heritage, her food legacy, to the loyalists, like from the 1700s when they came across into Ontario. And so she's got this recipe from like at least a century, if not older, and it'd be kind of cool to tie it. So it's so exciting. You talk about me getting out of bed in the morning. I just can hardly wait to open up my email to see what else has landed in my lap. And this will be a book available for everyone. And great read. I know it will be, because I'm reading already these stories, but there's a healing component in there. And that's my desire, to see everybody really thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm really interested in is I like traditional stuff. Like I like to know, what people do, what traditions do they have at Christmas and Easter or birthdays, or is there certain foods or certain things that people do at these things? Because I just think that's so appealing, because we don't really have that in our family. So I'm always interested when I see people say, oh, we always eat this thing or do this thing on, we always have a big fire out in the backyard, and we always do this thing, and we always make sure we have this one thing to eat. Or it's, if you don't have it, the family's like, what do you mean you don't have it?
Yeah.
I love that traditional stuff.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that this is an opportunity for people to share their tradition, so that perhaps it could be your next tradition in somebody else's family. Sure, there's that cultural piece, and there's the French, and then there's the Indigenous, and all kinds of different other groups. It's just so cool how it's getting woven together, and it could be your next tradition, or you could just have something different every year. And you don't even have to use the recipes in the book, but it's just the idea to explore, be curious, open maybe for changes if you wanted them to, but just really embrace who you are. And, go for it and have fun and celebrate food.
I love it. I just can hardly wait to see it. Is there anything else that you have that you want to share with us all, something that we haven't touched on?
As for just general information, I do offer a Your Food Story program, and that is something that is in a certain format that we go through. I've set up modules, and it's to answer questions like why, when, where, how do you eat, and how does that play into your health and wellness, and always focusing in on your health concerns, your health goals, and how does that all work. So I actually do have a Your Food Story program.
Okay.
And that is, there's more information on my website, sproutnaturalnutrition.com.
Okay.
So it's set up individual, or I've also had groups of people, and can be linked through. It can be customized to be even a couple of people. Sometimes I have family members I want to do that together. So that's that part there, if you're asking about what else do I have to say. So there's actually a live Your Food Story program, not just this book that's kind of spun off from it. Yeah. But yeah, that's something that I'm doing. And I partner with a lot of local people as well, different businesses. And so that's something else too, if anybody who's listening, as I'm always open for collaboration too. So whatever that looks like as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I know you've made some really good partnerships in the last 6 months or so. It's pretty exciting, and you deserve it, because you definitely know your stuff.
Thank you. Thank you. It's fun. It's fun doing it too.
Well, I mean, I know from my place, you've inspired me a lot because, um, I love seeing your pictures. You do wonderful photography, like just incredible. And is your Instagram, is it Sprout Natural?
It actually has my first name in it. So it's one of the social media accounts that doesn't just have Sprout Natural. So it's a Loretta _ Sprout Natural is my Instagram account. But I'm on Twitter as Sprout Natural. I'm on Facebook. Well, I'll have my business account, Sprout Natural Nutritional Consulting.
Okay.
And well, LinkedIn, if people are interested, it's under my name, Loretta Friedrich, actually.
Right.
So I invite people to, hey, we can support each other. And I've got lots of free recipes on Instagram. I do blog, but I tend to, I'm trying to throw the recipe up really quickly. So I default to Instagram, always thinking, okay, I'll go back to blogging about it, but I'm on to the next recipe. So you'll get the free recipes more or less on the Instagram account. So, and I do want to tell the people who are listening that with Diana here being so supportive and just a wonderful person who just takes this genuine interest in seeing people grow, whether or not it's within the connection of the Fabulous at 50 or within the business community, because I'm sort of touching of various community groups with Diana, and having opportunities to speak and being a cover girl and actually a feature in last August's food magazine. Like, it's just, you can't go wrong partnering with this wonderful woman who really has the best interests of everyone. And so I just really appreciate that about you, Diana, and I wanted to put it off on the record. But
thanks.
Yes, the food, thank you for that. Yeah, everybody can connect with me, and I know you follow me and I follow you, and it's just a really cool thing. So
well, to me, that's what it's all about. It's about sharing. And if I can connect, sometimes I connect people without really knowing, and then I find out months later that they've been doing things or struck up some sort of partnership. And I love that. I don't need to know necessarily, but I love it when I see people getting, moving forward, learning something. Because I just turned 59, and I'm telling you, I'm not even close to closing the doors on any new information. I love it. I love learning about new things and how my body works and what my body likes and what my body doesn't like. And that's why you and I have such great conversations, because, sometimes there's not really an explanation why we don't like something. And by having a conversation with somebody else, we might pick something up that we might not have got. So, why I love social media is because, I can put a question out there about something, and it's amazing how many smart people and how willing people are to, to share. So like on, the Fabulous at 50 page, my personal page, you'll see a lot of that, asking for information, because believe me, if it's something that's happening to me, it's probably happening to many other people too. So struggle with weight, struggle with digestive issues, all those things. I'm not that unique that it's only happening to me. So I'm willing to share some of those uncomfortable conversations so that maybe someone else can learn something as well. And, I just read an article the other day about a woman who was having problems with mold, and she put it out on Google and started Googling and found this support group, and no doctors, no one could seem to find what was going wrong. And it was through this group that she was able to find out that she had a problem with mold. And I think that's what's the best of social media.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Because then, like you say, you put it out there, and people are giving that information and that knowledge, and that's the social part of it. So that connection that we need, and so I love it. I love this community, and I'm just so grateful to be part of it. So.
Yeah, me too. So last question: what's your favorite food?
I laugh because
One.
everything.
Everything.
Okay, why not? Well, this would be kind of not the truth, but it'll be a nod to one of my names of my company. The name is Sprout. So I really do like sprouts. And while my company Sprout Natural Nutrition, I don't grow sprouts and sell them, but I really do enjoy those little cute little bundles, and they're just full of nutrients. So that would be one part there, but I do enjoy Ukrainian food. It just part of me. So there we go.
You got my vote on that one. That's for sure. Anytime you want to share any Ukrainian food with me, just call me.
Okay.
I'm open to it. Well, thank you so much, Loretta. Always fun to talk and share with you. And I know that people are going to love this conversation, and we will be waiting for your book.
Oh, great.
Which I will be sharing like a crazy person.
Well, thank you so much. And again, my website is sproutnaturalnutrition.com if anybody wants to look me up. And
you are a coach, a Cosmo Club coach, so they can also find you on fabulous50.com as well.
That's right.
If they want to go there and find you there and then follow you.
Yep.
So thanks again, and we will chat soon, my friend.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.